Hello, good morning, and a really warm welcome to Fishbourne Church of England Primary School. This is the first of 3 sessions that we are running to support the volunteers who are going to make up our volunteer army in September to be ready to come and join our school family and be part of our team. It's very strange to be filming this first session, and we're really so disappointed that we're not able to invite you into school for this. We believe really strongly that relationships are so important at Fishbourne Primary School. And because of that, we were really looking forward to getting to know our new volunteers and welcoming you into our school family. But alas, this is the way that we're going to have to do things for the time being. And I really hope this first session will be really helpful to you as you come to join our school. So with no further ado, I am going to share with my screen. We've got used to using lots of new technology in school, and I'm hoping now you're able to see the screen that I've got in front of me. You should be able to see a screen that says Fishbourne Church of England Primary School, becoming a volunteer. So first of all, we would like to say a huge thank you to you for volunteering your time to come and support our little fish at Fishbourne Primary School. This period of time has been utterly extraordinary, as I know you will agree, and we have faced all sorts of challenges. One of the things I feel most proud of as the head teacher at Fishbourne Primary School is the way in which our community has come together each and every step of the way to support the children and families who come to this school. We've been supported in a tremendous number of different ways. And this next stage, as we look towards the autumn term, is a really key time. We know and we believe that it takes a village to raise a child. What you bring to our school community will make a tremendous difference. And so to start this training, I just want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for giving up your time and volunteering to support the children and staff at Fishbourne Primary School. Now, the purpose of today's session is an introductory session, and it complements this booklet that we've put together, which is also designed to support you, which is called our Volunteers Handbook. And we're taking some of the key messages from that handbook today to just talk through so that everybody is clear. So we start with safeguarding, which is always the very most important part of school life. It is our number one priority. It supersedes everything. Keeping the children in our care safe at all times is a critical element of our role and will become a critical element of your role, which is why session 2 of our volunteer training is all about safeguarding, and it is a requirement upon everybody to take part in that training session so that you feel confident in your role as a volunteer when you come to us in September. We know that every single member of our school community has a role to play within safeguarding, and I'm just going to touch upon this very briefly today, but as I said, next week our session is all about safeguarding, and we will really go into a lot of detail during that period of time. But I think it's important at this stage in our introductory film that we acknowledge the importance of that. We recognise that our volunteers need to have had a DBS check. They also need to have a reference before they're able to start volunteering. And most of you who are doing this training today will have done both of those things already. And we will have written to you just to confirm that we have both the DBS clearance and the reference in school, and that you're ready to proceed from there. If you haven't heard from us yet about that, it will be because one of those elements is missing. And if you want to give us a call just to find out which bit is missing, you're very welcome to do so. We also believe, alongside that, that our volunteers need to have had appropriate safeguarding training, and that will focus on our 3 R's: recognising, recording and reporting. And that's a really important part of the training that all of our staff team have and our governors every single year. Prior to that training, it would be very helpful, indeed essential, that you have read the document that has a link here. It will also be a link in the letter that came to you, which is called Keeping Children Safe in Education, Part 1. That is a really essential read for all of our volunteers, and we will be referring to that within the training. Okay, the next thing I'd like to talk to you about this morning is our school vision. Our school vision is something that we live and breathe. It's a part of every decision that we make in school. And actually, during this extraordinary time of the pandemic, it has really guided us in the decisions that we have had to make. So, our school vision at Fishbourne Primary School is there is only one you in this great big world. Make it a better place. Both parts of that sentence are equally important. We recognise that each of our children is completely unique. They bring with them different gifts, different talents, and our role in school is to support them in recognising those talents. And then the second part of that is equally important, and that is our drive to support our children to understand they have a really important role to play out in terms of making our world a better place to be. This vision was inspired by a beautiful picture book. We give every new child who arrives at our school a copy of this book. It's called Only One You, and it's by the author Linda Krantz. It's a beautiful book, and it's a book that is based around two parent fish, giving their child some advice before they go off on their adventures. When you come and visit us for the first time, we will read you this story, because once you have read it, your lives will be touched forever by the message. It finishes with this sentence, the final piece of advice that the mother and father fish give to their baby fish before he goes off on his adventures. There's only one you in this great big world. Make it a better place. As I said, we live and breathe that vision. Our children talk about it all of the time. Our assemblies relate to it. It is part of us and our community. We believe that not just for the children who come to Fishbourne Primary School, but for the staff, for the governors, for the volunteers. And even in the fact that you have signed up to volunteer at Fishbourne Primary School shows that you place a value on setting out to make the world a better place. And so we welcome you to come and have that impact on our school. And we thank you for the time that you're going to set aside to do that. So I look forward to sharing the story with you when you come and join us at Fishbourne. There's another quote that we talk about a lot, especially as a staff team. We don't share this one with our children, but it's very much around our vision for what we believe as adults who are fortunate enough to come together as a team and support learning at Fishbourne. This is it. Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best they can possibly be. What a powerful message. This message comes from a wonderful educator, an American educator who actually is no longer with us. Her name's Rita Pearson, and at the bottom of this screen you will see a link to a talk that Rita Pearson did about the importance of relationships, the importance of connection. As a school, we really feel that message, and we really champion our children to be the very best that they can be. Your role as a volunteer at Fishbourne Primary School will also give you an opportunity to champion children, and what a privilege that is to be able to connect with children in that way. So you will also hear us talking about that, and I very much hope that when you volunteer at Fishbourne Primary School you will see this being played out in every classroom that you visit. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is really important. I'm going to say that on every slide, I'm sure, but this is around confidentiality. Okay, so confidentiality is very important in any school setting. The reality is that when you come into school, you will see and hear things that are personal to both children and adults in school. You will find out things about children and how they learn. Everything that you learn in school should be regarded as being confidential. There is a policy about that on our school website. It's called the Data Protection Policy, and I would direct you to have a little look at that. It's really important that we view the information that we have about children as being something that is confidential. It is not okay to talk to anybody outside school about what you have seen in the classroom. Even if you think it's something that's really positive, it just doesn't need to happen. Some of the volunteers who have signed up to support us in school are parents, and some are members of our community. And in some ways, parents are more likely to be open to that, where another parent might ask a question about something that you may have seen a child doing in school or not. And we would ask you that in the event of that happening, you signpost the class teacher or me for that parent to come and have a conversation with. It's really important you don't get drawn into conversations outside of school relating to the children that you come into contact with. Okay. Health and safety. This is an essential slide, but one is less exciting than others, okay? But this is also important. So you will be in receipt of our handbook that I've already mentioned, okay? And it's really important that you just spend a little bit of time familiarising yourself with the content of that handbook. When you arrive for your volunteer session, you'll be asked to sign in. And you will be asked to wear a visitor identification badge at all times when you're on the premises. And that will be the case even when you've been established for quite a long time. It's just a way for our children to know that the adults that they're coming into contact with in school are adults who are supposed to be in school. At the back of your packs, your handbooks, there is also an agreement that we ask you to sign. And there's quite a lot of information contained within that, but I'm not going to read it all through because you will also have that in your possession, hopefully by now. But it is just where we ask you to sign to say that you have taken part in these training sessions, that you've read Keeping Children Safe in Education, that you are happy with the confidentiality agreement. So we ask you to read that through really carefully and sign it before you come to your first session. You will already know that we have asked you to provide the name of a referee and to ensure that your DBS is up to date. And if you haven't got those things yet, that's absolutely fine, but you won't be able to come into school until we have got that information. Okay. Okay, so supervision. We are very clear that when we have volunteers in school, the visitors and volunteers are under the supervision of the class teacher or the leadership team in school. At all times, the teachers remain responsible for the children. You may come out of the classroom with a child or a small group of children, but the class teacher will direct you as to where it is you should be, and it'll be really important that during that time you don't go anywhere else that you haven't been directed to be, because in the event of a fire or in the event of needing to lock down the school, as teachers, the teachers have responsibility for those children at all times, okay? There's also a question there around who has responsibility for the behaviour of children. Now, we've been doing a lot of work as a school on our behaviour policy, and a really strong feature of that behaviour policy is the focus on relationships. Now, if you have any questions relating to any aspect of a child's, either their understanding, if it's a learning task, or their behaviour, then please do refer to the class teacher. We certainly don't expect you to be having to do any managing of any challenging behaviour, and we would not set up any situations that would result in you feeling you needed to do that. But if you do find yourself in a situation where you've got questions, then please know that the class teachers will be very, very happy to support you in terms of your understanding around that. This one's a tricky one. Now, we know that as volunteers, we value tremendously the time that you are donating to our school. You will become a really important part of our school community. And when our teaching team are doing their planning for different days during the course of the week, they will be depending on the volunteers that they are expecting. Now, we also recognise that sometimes there might be a very good reason why you're not able to come to school. It might be that you're poorly. It might be that you have a personal reason why you've got another commitment that week. We do ask wherever possible that your commitment to our school is a priority, but we also recognise that there will be occasions when you're not able to be in school. So what we ask really is that you let us know with plenty of time if you feel that you are not going to be in school for the session that you have signed up for. We just want to finish by saying thank you. Thank you for the time that you are giving our school community. It means the world to us that we have had such a positive sign up from members of the community, members from our families who attend to the school. It's incredible, and we are really excited to see what we will be able to achieve over the course of this academic year. Now, we haven't spoken about COVID at all yet. And obviously the reason that we are presenting in the way that we are this morning is because of the change in the easing of the lockdown. It is very much our hope as a school community that we will be able to welcome you to school in September. But obviously at the moment we don't know yet. And even if we are in the position to welcome you in September, there may be particular restrictions that we need to talk to you about so that you have a full understanding of the risk assessment as it stands in school come September. We are in a period of time where there is a lot of uncertainty as to what that might look like. And we've learned over time that we are not able to control the outcome of these periods of time. So we urge you to bear with us. We will be in touch straight away at the beginning of the autumn term so that we can update you on what we think or where we will be by then. And hopefully we will have certainty at that point. I think it is likely that in September we will have a training session for our volunteers that is face-to-face in the school building, an opportunity for you to come and meet other members of our volunteer army, an opportunity for you to come for us to talk to you about what the COVID restrictions are at that time and the impact that has in our classrooms. If you're interested to know more about what our risk assessment currently looks like, that is also on our website and you're very welcome to have a little look through that. We have every hope that some of those things that we put into place will no longer have to be there, but obviously we don't know that yet. So you've had your introduction to volunteering today, sadly delivered in this way. Next week we have a safeguarding training session. That will be a little bit longer, and we would invite you to have a piece of paper and a pen with you to make notes during that, although of course you'll be able to re-watch it because it will be on YouTube, so you'll be able to revisit it as many times as you need to. But there may be things that you need to jot down and some activities during the course of that safeguarding training that you might want to engage with by jotting things down. And then the third session is going to be led by Emily Harris, who is our early years leader. And that's going to be around how you listen to readers who are learning to read, and to really arm you with the confidence that when you're working with a child who is learning to read, that you've got the tools that you need available to you to be able to do that with confidence. And that will be a really fabulous training session, which I'm really looking forward to being a part of as well. For the time being, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. Look out for the next training update on safeguarding that will be uploaded next Wednesday. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.